All right, and we are live. This is Maestro. I'm here with Kenny T for a post-fight edition of Mano a Mano. It was a big fight of, a big weekend of boxing this week, Kenny. I know you watched it. I know I've been running around like a crazy man, which is what we were just talking about. But let me know what's going on your side, Kenny, and your initial thoughts of the three cards this past weekend. We had Warrington and Lopez out of Leeds in England. We had obviously the big fight at the Garden with Teofimo Lopez and Sando Martine, and then Terrence Bud Crawford on pay-per-view from Omaha, Nebraska. Why don't you lead it off? Let me know which one you felt was the most important card, Kenny, and we'll talk about that one first.
Well, I don't support the UK. We didn't watch Warrington. Nah, I'm talking shit. I'm talking trash. I was just busy throughout the day. I had to get my gym workout in. I didn't get to see Warrington, and I didn't get to see his fight. No disrespect to the UK, so I can't really talk about the Warrington fight card. I was still busy. But what's the most important fight card? By far, the top rank fight card. Had a bunch of rookies, up and coming rookies on that fight card that were all tested. All the fight cards were pretty great, if you ask me. I can't well, good. The top rank fight card was good. So was the BLK fight card. Was good. It wasn't, none of them were great and amazing. I enjoyed the top rank fight card much more than the BLK Prime fight card because it just had much more to look forward to. Had a bunch of better names to look forward to. Also, it was more official and better officiated. Like, it was the first time for everything for BLK Prime. So, you know what I'm saying? Even some of their referees in some of those undercard fights was questionable. Some of those undercard fighters were super questionable. There was a fight that I had one of my friends here. He was watching. He was like, bro, are those like two autistic people fighting boxing? I'm like, nah, bro. The autistic people aren't allowed to box. They won't get licensed. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really believed it. But regardless, yo, you gotta give shout outs and props to Top Rank. Man, Top Rank knows what the hell they're doing when it comes to rookies, bro. Like, they be bringing these guys up at, like, you would think it's a piece of gold, but nah, it ain't a piece of gold. It's a little pebble wrapped in gold wrapping. That's at least what it feels like. Top Rank knows what the hell to do with their rookies. Look at Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? Before everybody is thinking what they think of him now. Look how they brought this man up. Everybody thought that Berlanga was the next Puerto Rican coming of Jesus, not Jesus, Jesus, because he's Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? But yo, then you look at Xander Zayas. Yeah, Xander Zayas still looks amazing. He's still coming up great. He's still a very wise kid, very good in the boxing ring, has heart. But yo, he was tested yesterday. He definitely caught more punches than anybody expected him to, and I thought his defense was just a little lackluster. He was getting a little too hype at times from him. He kept on coming like, "Oh shit, I got hit." No, he hit me one. I'm gonna hit him with three. Ah, you know what I mean? And it was whatever. It was like growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Growing pains because it seemed like inexperience. Like, chill out, buddy. Keep your defense up. You know what I'm saying? Continue moving your head out the way, land punches, and don't get those punches landed on you. Stop being so hype. I understand you love the crowd and you want to knock dudes out and you want to keep that going, but as you keep on going up in levels of opposition, you're not going to knock everybody out. Ask Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? But then even before him was Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis was tested too. Keyshawn Davis was, but I thought Keyshawn Davis was the best top-ranked rookie of the night. He played the best game. He was most poised mentally. He kept the right distance. His jab and his straight punch was great. He didn't get hit as much as the other fighters did, and the other fighters being I just named them Xander Zayas, and the other one is heavyweight prospect. He got hit a hell of a lot. The heavyweight prospect from Top Rank. I can't. What was his name? Jared Anderson. Jared, the real big baby Anderson. The real big baby, because there is a doodoo big baby out there somewhere in the heavyweight division. There is a PED big baby, but no, Jared Anderson was also tested. he was eating some big ass blows to the face. I was shocked, bro. And he looked powerful, but he was also overzealous. He was also doing what Xander Zayas was doing, straight going for the knockout. Like, oh shit, this guy hit me with a big shot. I gotta hit him with 4 or 5 big shots right after. He hit me once, I gotta knock him out now. It's like, nah, bro. You guys gonna learn a lot from these last couple fights that you guys were in, because they were great battle testing fights. You know what I'm saying? Tested your skills, tested your chin. It shows you though. Xander Zayas has a solid chin, and so does Jared Anderson, because Jared Anderson got hit with the hammer, bro, quite a few times. I was a little shocked. And then Teo, as they say, he went down twice. Did he go down twice? I don't know. I got to see a replay the second time again. I was a little tired and buzzed by the end of by the time that it got to the second to that second knockdown point. And they only showed it for like 2 seconds right after. I tried to find a replay on it before this podcast of the second potential knockdown. You can't find it on YouTube. At least I didn't find it.
Well, you have, Kenny, that's actually what I wanted to ask you about, because as we were talking about right before the show, I didn't leave the garden until almost 2 o'clock. Actually, yeah, it was later than that. Well, anyways, it was well after 3 by the time that I got home last night. And I didn't get to see the second knockdown, quote unquote, from the replay. I saw it live, and it looked to me like Sandor Martine did knock down Teofimo Lopez. Granted, Teofimo was off balance, but if you're off balance and you get hit with a punch, it don't matter that you were off balance. It's still a knockdown, but he didn't get credit for it. I never saw a replay. So people in the chat help us out. Going to the undercard prospects, I thought Keyshawn Davis showed a lot of poise against a very experienced opponent. It was a shutout victory. I thought Xander Zayas didn't look as dominating as he has in past performances. But again, he too fought an experienced guy out of Guadalajara. And
wasn't he super overzealous just like Jared though?
Well, the difference was, I was about to say, with Jared Big Baby Anderson was the most impressive to me offensively. Defensively, he took a couple hard shots from Jerry Forrest. I see Tony P in the chat saying, do not underestimate Jerry Forrest. He's a guy that's taken a few people, significant rounds. And Big Baby got him out of there in 2 rounds. In the first round, he looked like he was going to get him right out of there in the first round. The second round, the corner mercifully stopped. I think it was the corner that mercifully stopped the fight. Or if not, it was definitely the referee. And Jared Big Baby Anderson, in the aftermath at the post-fight press conference, said he actually held back because he saw Jerry Forrest's eyes roll back in his head, and he didn't want to put any more like permanent damage on him. I was actually very impressed with Big Baby. We saw that he can take a punch.
His chin was impressive.
And obviously the offense speaks for itself, right?
Bro, how do you keep on throwing punches for like, what was it, like 1 minute straight? He's a heavyweight. I thought that was super impressive. The defense was lackluster. Bro, how do you keep those punches going? It was impressive. He was just he was just going, man.
Kenny, we've had this back and forth about defense before, and I'm going to say my philosophy on it. I'm not in favor of guys getting hit. Boxing is the sweet science. Boxing is obviously the sport of getting hit and hitting and not getting hit, making people miss and making them pay. But, and we've had this conversation about Zurdo in particular, but I'm going to bring it up to Jared Big Baby Anderson right now. If you know that you can take a man's shot, to a certain extent, I give you a little bit of leeway in terms of taking one shot to land 2 or 3, or in this case, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, counting shots. And that's what Jared Big Baby Anderson did. Now, can he do that against a better opponent? Probably not. But
the defense still looked terrible, bro. Like, I don't care if he one punch knock the dude out. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Forrest had this man like with a mean pushback. Like, Forrest would hit him, you'd see this man take a whole foot back. Like, whoa, bro, chill. Don't look like that. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, the other thing
if Forrest had just a little bit more power, that would have been damaging for Anderson. Stop it.
One of the reasons I actually got back so late was because I went to the post-fight presser, and Big Baby Anderson was honest about it. He got hit with a good shot, and he said to himself, and he told us that after that, he's like, okay, now I got to be a little more cautious defensively. I didn't see him get hit with that much in round 2, to be honest. And to Tony's point, in round 1, he threw 115 punches with 54 hitting the target. That sounds about right. It also sounds incredible that a heavyweight was able to do that. Now, granted, he wasn't going to be able to sustain that attack for multiple rounds, but I don't know.
It was insane, nonetheless.
I give him an A.
Get the fuck out of here.
I give him an A.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm giving him an A, Kenny. Okay, let's do it. We're giving
I love the kid. No, that's not an A performance.
We're giving the prospects grades. Okay, I'm giving Keyshawn Davis an A. Okay,
I give him an A.
I'm giving Xander Zayas an A. Maybe an A minus. Maybe an A minus.
I'd give him a B. B plus, maybe. B
okay.
plus. Okay. Or maybe even less. A B.
And with Jared Big Baby Anderson, the real Big Baby. And by the way, I think that the real Big Baby should fight the other Big Baby. I think that would be a pretty good promotion.
I don't want to see it. It would be a good promotion, battle for the Big Baby name or whatever the hell. But Big Baby, the steroid Big Baby, hasn't done a damn thing to deserve that fight or to be put back in the limelight like that.
And I'm giving the Big Baby an A. And I'm also giving Teofimo Lopez a C minus, and we're gonna get into that one.
Bro, how you give these prospects all A's and then you give Teofimo a C minus? Get the hell out of here, man. Look, the only prospect that deserves an A is Keyshawn. Besides that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro.
Prospects. I'm grading on the curve. They're not out there. They're not out there saying that they were the undisputed champion when they weren't. They're not out there saying that they want the likes of people of the caliber of a Regis Prograde next or Josh Taylor next.
This guy said I'm grading on the curve. Bro, I don't care about grading on the curve. I'm not a teacher. A special ed 95 is not equivalent to a regular student's 95. Get out of here with that, bro. Nah, man. Look, Keyshawn Davis, he gets his clean A. He fought at a great distance. His defense was great all fight. He barely got tagged. His land was beautiful. His straight was beautiful. He was dominant the entire fight. Keyshawn Davis deserves his A. Xander Zayas, B plus. He got hit way too much. And then he got overzealous.
How many rounds did he lose?
I don't know. I didn't do round by round.
I don't think he lost a single round in that fight.
Oh, I never said he lost any rounds or that. I think he was losing.
It's an A performance.
No,
how many times did he get knocked out? How many times did he get knocked out?
Bro, this is a doodle argument. This is a doodle biased argument. This is super doodle. Oh, how many times did he win the fight? Did he win? No, that's not how it works, bro. Whether he won the fight. Look, let's say he landed 20 punches every single round. The other guy landed 15. Stop it. Stop it. Let's give the other dude that Xander Zayas fought credit to. Xander Zayas did his thing. Yes, he came out with the victory. No, he was not no A plus performance. Hell no. And I'm not hating on the kid. I'm being real.
I never said A plus. In fact,
A is way too far. I thought you was about to say something. A is way too far ahead of a rating.
No, I was.
I don't really know what's go. Yeah, go for it, bro.
No, go for it. I want to give Alexis Salazar credit. All right, Alexis Salazar did well for who he is. He's a guy brought in to give Xander Zayas rounds. I never said A plus for Xander Zayas.
A
I
is
said
too much as well.
most likely A minus. I said A
minus.
minus. A minus.
Anything in the A grade is too much. Why? The kid had too many mistakes. He got hit way too much. His defense was lackluster, and he got overzealous. He lost his head. Oh, I got hit. Let me fight to the crowd. Ah, Tasmanian devil, knock him out. Bite his ear. The fuck? He got overzealous. He did way too much, just like Jared Anderson. That I don't find that to be impressive. Oh, Forrest, nobody's put him out in 2 rounds. He's taking some real good fighters some rounds. I don't give a fuck if he finished them in 2 rounds. He finished them in 2 rounds, getting his face pounded in. That doesn't matter to me.
I mean, how many shots? So what's your grade for Jared Anderson then?
I give Jared Anderson, because of the 100 consecutive punches that he do. I have to give Jared Anderson.
Come on, just say it. It's an A.
B plus A minus. Bro, he got tagged way too much. Did you watch the fight, bro?
I was live at the fight. Of course, I watched it.
That's what I'm saying. So you saw the 15 to 20 punches that he caught flush to the chin that had him like, ooh. You saw those punches. You can't take those punches and tell me, oh, it was an A plus, A minus, A anything performance. He got clobbered, bro.
All right, this is a good discussion. I'm going to explain where I'm coming from on this. I don't rate.
1 second.
Am I gonna?
Sorry. Just gotta say, I'm not saying. I just gotta clear this up for the chat and everybody watching. I'm not saying that Jared Anderson did bad. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter or anything like that. I think the guy did amazing. He did great. All I'm saying is that I don't think it was A. What was it? A or A plus? You said A performance.
I said A. I said A for him. I was going to go with A minus for Xander Zayas. And don't forget, I started off by saying that Keyshawn Davis was an A. All right. So what I want to say about this, I am not grading these guys like they're championship fighters. I'm grading these guys as if they exactly what they are, which is prospects. I've not even tagged them as contenders yet. I haven't tagged any of these 3 guys as contenders. In my eyes, they're blue chip prospects. Blue chip prospects who last night.
What exactly does that mean?
Let me just finish.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, a blue chip prospect is like if you're a high school athlete, for instance, you're a prospect that people are anticipating will go to a major like big conference university, or if you're a blue chip prospect at the college level, you're going to end up in the NBA. So if we're going to use a basketball analogy, I'm not grading them as NBA players. I'm grading them as guys who are on the path to getting up there. Okay. I'm not grading them the same way I'm grading someone who's in the championship mix, who's not a prospect, who's not a contender, who's a guy that was an undisputed, quote unquote, very disputed, but let's just say it, world champion. Let's just say world champion, unified world champion, who has aspirations to immediately become a world champion again. I was at the post-fight press conference, all right, where Carl Moretti, pretty much the head matchmaker for Top Rank, with the 3 guys standing on stage, all right? And none of these guys were talking about fighting for titles in the near future. Carl Moretti was not talking about matching them up against world champions in the near future. And in fact, when he was asked about that, he was clearly like, in his own words, like, y'all need to pump the brakes. Like, this ain't the plan over here. Here at Top Rank, we match guys in a specific way because it's not just fighting for the world title, it's winning the world title, because that's where you're going to make the money. So if I'm grading someone as a prospect, prospects get hit. Prospects aren't perfect. Prospects have things to work on. Prospects, I'm not going to say that a guy's not an A because he got hit. He's a prospect. He's supposed to go in there and learn. But it's your performance at the end of the day. And yes, Jared Anderson got hit, but he's a prospect. Prospects are still in the learning phases of their career, the early phases of his career. He got hit. Yes, he got hit. But then he came back and blasted the dude out of there within 2 rounds. Xander Zayas didn't drop a single round to to his opponent. So yeah, I'm grading it a little bit different. So you're grading your way. I'm just explaining how I'm grading my way, and then I'm going to get to the Teofimo grade in a second. Go for it,
Bro,
Kenny.
I can't. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but I can't have the regular child and the special ed grading. I'm grading everybody the same. Everybody's
To me,
taking the
this is
same. Hold on. Everybody's taking the same exact test. We all gonna take the same exact math test, and I'm not gonna make the special ed's 20 grade of a 25 equivalent to the regular student's grade of an 85. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. You're gonna fight, and the way you look, that's how I'm gonna grade you. Whether
well.
whether you fight a tomato can or you fought a great fighter, if you win the fight dominantly, I'm gonna grade you an A. If you start getting rocked, you start having defensive lapses, you start having mental lapses where you go overzealous and you forget the game plan, I'm going to
Right.
lower your grade. I don't care about special ed. I don't care about he's a
I got it.
prospect and this guy is a pro. It doesn't matter to me.
I got it. So let me explain real quick, because I'm going to address your statement just now. I think this is a really good discussion, by the way, and I want to
Amazing.
explain to Lennox, because Lennox is kind of in line with you. So to your point about special ed and like a regular classroom, I'm not grading special ed. I'm not grading a middle school student the way I'm going to grade a high school student, or the way I'm going to grade a college student or grad school student or somebody doing their PhD. I'm not saying they're special ed, but they're not college students yet. So they're not all taking the same test. If they were taking the same test, they wouldn't have been in 8-round fights last night. They would have been in 12-round championship fights. So to talk to Lennox's point, why wouldn't you grade them at championship level? It's fucking obvious. They're not in 12-round fights. They're in 8-round developmental fights where they're supposed to learn things that guys on the championship level are supposed to have already learned. So Teofimo Lopez, who we're going to get to eventually, is at the college level or past it, grad school level. These guys are still in middle school as it relates to their boxing careers. They're not championship fighters. They're not contenders. They are prospects. Hence, they were in 8-round fights. It's not special ed versus regular ed, and everybody's, and I'm grading them different, like they're at the same level. There are very different levels of their career. So that's my answer to that.
And I'm sorry, but I highly disagree with you. They're professionals. This is not amateurs and pros and Olympics. They're all professionals. So I'm sorry. I don't care. College sports get compared to college sports like NBA gets compared to NBA. Pro sports get compared to pro sports. This college to pro level analogy, it's not working for me. They're all pros. Too goddamn bad. When I was in high school playing basketball, my stats. My doo-doo ass stats were being compared to LeBron stats when he was in high school playing basketball in Ohio. To being compared to Michael Jordan stats. I'm a nobody in basketball. Please.
So okay,
I'm nice in basketball, but I'm a nobody
in
basketball. Hold on, my stats are being compared to these people. The people are talking about Xander Zayas. People are talking about Jared Anderson, like if they're already champs, like if they'll beat the best fighters out there. So that's how I'm gonna grade them. They're professionals. I'm gonna grade them like professionals. We don't talk about let's say when Julio Cesar Martinez was fighting Chocolatito, we're gonna Chocolatito, like the veteran, he should be retiring. And we got Julio Cesar Martinez, who's like the up and coming college student. No, they're both professionals with skills, and they're gonna fight each other.
I got it. So in that regard, then they're all pros, right? So we should have Xander Zayas take on the winner of Jermell Charlo and Tim Tszyu next, right? Because they're all pro fighters.
Those are different weight classes. Terrible argument.
What are you talking about? It's the exact same weight class. They fight at 154. What are you talking about? He's a 154 fighter.
Bro, did you not just say we should take Zayas and have him fight Jared Anderson? Did you not just say that?
Oh, if I said that, I messed up. I meant to say.
Or maybe I heard wrong.
No, I said Jermell Charlo and Tim Tszyu. Just have them fight the winner of that next, right? They're all professionals. Why don't we have Jared Anderson take on Tyson Fury next, or the Juggernaut. They're all professionals. Matter of fact, why didn't we have Jared Anderson turn pro against Tyson Fury? Why didn't we do that?
Hey, look, if that's the levels of competition that we're going to be comparing them to, and what we're going to talk and how we're going to be talking about them, then yes, let's have them fight those people. If we're going to be talking about, well, Xander Zayas, he's looking like the next coming of I don't fucking know, then let's have him fight against those fighters, and let's grade them equally to those fighters. But let's not over hype and over gas these fighters. Let's not do it, because that's how you end up with Edgar Berlangas. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and by the way, you do have to give 100% credit to the statement that Gervonta Tank Davis said. Super factual statement. He says, yo, Top Rank really knows how to develop their prospects. First 20 fights in, Top Rank prospects looking amazing. And then they get exposed for who they really are.
So again, look, I've said this before, right? If I have a bunch of amateur fighters that are about to turn pro, right, and if I'm managing them, I want them fighting for Top Rank, because Top Rank does not follow the philosophy that you just spelled out. They're not throwing these prospects into the wolves against championship level fighters. They're putting them in. They're gradually building them up, because guess what? There are levels to the pro game. Not everybody is a undisputed champion. Not everybody is a unified champion. Not everybody is a belt holder. Not everybody is going to get to that level or should be pushed there right away. So I'm just explaining my grading. I understand where you're coming from, but I grade prospects according to the level they're at. I don't grade them based on them making mistakes, unless they make huge mistakes that lead to knockdowns, that lead to them losing wide rounds. Prospects are supposed to get tested. That's why they're matched the way they were on Saturday night. Now, I want to get to Teofimo Lopez, bro, because Teofimo Lopez fought a guy in Sandor Martine, a southpaw, tricky guy, who had unexpectedly beat Mikey Garcia in Mikey Garcia's last fight, and came out here to New York City to take on Teofimo Lopez at the Garden. From where I was sitting, and I haven't heard the commentary yet. I'm going to watch it after the show. I'm going to sit down and watch ESPN and listen to what was going on. But it was a very close fight. I don't agree with the scorecard, the wide one. A draw would have seemed fair. Maybe an edge one way or another to a fighter. I do think, and Kenny, I wanted your opinion on this, because we didn't really get into much of that. Because I love it when I'm at the fight and you watch on TV, because we do pick up on different things. It did look like Sandor Martin knocked down Teofimo Lopez twice. Okay, and to me, I saw a guy in Teofimo Lopez who was trying to pot shot and feint his way to a victory, and wasn't really throwing enough punches in abundance in terms of combination punching. I saw a guy that was trying to, feint his way and pot shot his way to a victory and try to land significant power punches, who actually got clipped twice for being really off balance and getting hit with shots that he didn't see and dropped. Did you see two knockdowns, or what did you see on Saturday night?
Well, I wasn't fully impressed by Teofimo Lopez, specifically because, as you said, all the out of balance shots, he kept on trying to overextend his body in a weird way, and like when he would come forward, throw a punch, and get off of his back foot, which was how he ended up getting knocked down, because he was his back foot was up off the floor. Sandor Martin came with the quick right hand, bloop, off balance right to the floor. Because it wasn't, let's face it, it wasn't oh shit, Sandor Martin has so much power that he touched Teofimo and Teofimo was buzzed and woozy. No, it was Teofimo was out of balance for throwing his crazy, weird angled, random weird shots that aren't regular in boxing. I think that Teofimo Lopez needs to stop playing and sit down on his shots, really, because that I feel like that's when he was most effective. When he was sitting down on his power, when he was willing to take a little bit of power, but also defend with the arm so that he could, let's say, let the other hand go with a crazy amount of devastating power. He's not letting his punches go with devastating power anymore. Yes, he got knocked down the first time. The second time, I feel like they showed the replay on TV just a little too quickly. But from what I remember seeing, it did look like he got knocked down the second time. Because, before he went down, Sandor Martine, although it wasn't a really hard punch, it was another one of those little off-balance things. Sandor Martine, he got him like, somewhere around here or something.
He made contact, right? He made contact.
100%. It didn't look like some crazy, but he got him. He made contact on the side of the head, and that in the same direction that Sandor Martin hit him, that's the same direction that Teofimo Lopez went to the ground. But because it was so quick and it was at such a weird angle, when watching it live on TV, it didn't look like Sandor Martin made any contact. Only on the replay could you tell that contact was made.
Yeah, so I mean that's boxing, right? I mean, if you go in off balance and you get dropped, that's a knockdown. It's not your opponent's fault that your footwork's bad. He exploits that. It's not your opponent's fault that you were off balance. It's up to him to exploit that. And if he exploits that and your gloves touch the ground or your knees touch the ground or anything other than the soles of your feet touch the ground, that is supposed to be a knockdown. And, if that's scored as a 10-8 round for Sandor Martin and not a 10-9 round for Teofimo Lopez, that likely changes the dynamics of the fight. It absolutely does. And again,
100%. I think that sorry, I apologize.
No, bro, go for it. You good? Go for it.
I was mad rude. I just have
we're in fire mode right now based on the grading discussion, and we're about to get into another grading discussion right now because you know what? A lot of people are used to me and you agreeing a lot of the times, but we don't always agree. And when we don't agree, we come with two separate arguments that you could each one say that makes sense in a logical way. But we just come from it from two different perspectives. So go for it.
100%, man. Look, Sandor Martin's side of the battle, I also feel that Sandor Martin was just a little too complacent in being defensive and staying away and making Teofimo miss. But nonetheless, Teofimo was still, in my opinion, landing much more punches than Sandor Martin. So, I was a little upset by how Sandor Martin came out and at the end of the fight and was like, yeah, I wonder if you ain't win shit, bro. Like, regardless, if the second knockdown would have gotten counted on the scorecards, I would have had the fight as a draw. Because the second knockdown did not get counted in the scorecards, I had Teofimo slightly winning the fight. Sandor Martin did not do enough to win that fight. No, Teofimo was right in saying that he was running just a little too much.
I wouldn't say it was running. I'd say it was lateral movement. I didn't see him just running around the ring. I saw him circling Teofimo Lopez. And guess what? Not standing there. That's not running. That's like what people used to say when Floyd would outbox him. Oh, he was running the whole night. No, he wasn't. Yeah,
but
he wasn't.
Floyd
he wasn't running.
Floyd was
Sandor was landing punches, bro.
Not
that
as
little
much.
That little right hook that he catch.
That was effective. That
little right hook. I'm telling you. So look, at the end of the day, when I'm training my fighters, I don't train them to just stand there. If you got strong legs, and I know Kenny, you're big on having strong legs. Okay, it's one of the things that people like. Oh, why don't you guys go at make fun of Deontay Wilder like that with that bench press video? Because it was mad funny. That's why. It was, and from a biomechanical and physiological perspective, you have to have strong legs. So when you have strong legs, you're able to bounce around. You're able to move around and circle your opponent. You're able to just not stand there and be hit. And guess what? When a guy's doing that, and I don't often give a lot of praise to Triple G, right? But one thing, and I'm just using as an example, I want to use him specifically because I've been labeled a Triple G hater. One thing I give Triple G credit for, if you're doing this, does he just allow you to do that, Kenny, or does he cut off the ring? Does he make your escape route small? Does he close the gap, go to the body, and punish you? If Teofimo's that dude, that's what he should have been doing last night.
I agree with I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. That's why I was saying that he needs to sit down on his punches a little more, because that's what Triple G does. When people are running around on Triple G and trying to come with the jabs and the hooks and shit, what does Triple G do? He goes in there, he starts cutting off the ring, he takes a little contact on the glove to come back with his very sharp jabs and with his hooks as well. Teofimo was not sitting down on his stuff. He was coming from super far, throwing these like jabs that's like, ooh, I want to hit you, but I want to get the hell out the way. I don't want to get hit either. So I'm gonna come from like halfway across the ring. I'm gonna try to land this jab, and then I'm gonna run all the way back across halfway across the ring. It was like he was getting ready to jump rope. You know how you on the outside. His back foot kept on going off the ground when it shouldn't. He should be sitting there more solidly, ready to exchange. Sandor Martine, I don't think would have been able to hold Teofimo's power if Teofimo would have sat down on his punches, as opposed to throwing his power from those weird ass angles that he was doing.
Which is what got him caught.
100%. And lunging forward too. Lunging forward got him dropped twice. Unfortunately, the second one didn't count.
100%. And look, when I give up my grade again, I'm not grading Teofimo as a prospect. I'm not grading Teofimo as a contender. I'm grading Teofimo based on who he said that he is. And he called himself an undisputed champion at lightweight. He said he was better than Devin Haney. He still says that. He says he's better than all of these other guys at 135 and 140. Okay, that's who you say you are, right? That means that you're at that PhD level in the sport. Well, I'm gonna grade you like a PhD. And when I grade you like a PhD, guess what? You didn't pass the dissertation viva last night. You didn't earn the PhD last night. You sat there in front of your PhD supervisors and the board of review, and the board of review said, you need to go back, work on these different things, and come back and sit in front of us and defend your PhD again, because your doctoral dissertation wasn't up to scratch. So I'm giving him a C-. Book it, Kenny.
I'm not mad at your rating. I like, it is what it is. But what I do have to say is, at the end of the day, Sandor Martine is a great fighter. It's not like he's a washed up scrub or a pushover. He's a great fighter. He whooped on Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? He didn't whoop on Teo. You know what I'm saying? Technically, you could say, if you're going to say, if you're going to go with the theory of, well, this guy beat that guy, so that means that this guy beat the other guy. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to go with that, technically, that means Teo would easily beat Mikey Garcia as well. Although the Garcia brothers be like, oh, well, Mikey was not himself that night. He wasn't the same, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't give Teo a C-. I give Teo like a B-, specifically because there was a lot, in my opinion, there was a lot of improvement from Teo. There was not the distraught, crazy, overzealous lunging. Like, he was lunging, but like, he didn't look like a schoolyard kid going, ah! You know what I'm saying? Which was what he looked like against Kambosos. So that was an improvement. Right. His mental, there was an improvement in his mental for sure. But he still wasn't the same guy that he was against Loma. You know what I'm saying? Poised, calm, coming back with the counter, taking punches on the gloves and doing things to counteract the moves of Sandor Martine. If anything, he was kind of just running after Sandor Martine, kind of in a straight line, throwing these straight lunging punches, and Sandor Martine was kind of also just running. I say running specifically because I don't think Sandor Martine threw enough punches to say, well, it's like Floyd, because Floyd used to run and but nah, Floyd used to punch, counter, punch, jab, punch, counter. Sandor Martine ain't do too much of that, in my opinion. He could have done so much more of it.
So I'm gonna have to address Tony's comment, because Tony out there in the UK, he's not here in the USA, he's not here in North America, right? So in North America, yes, a C- is a pass at the undergraduate level. But I've already said, in my eyes, Teofimo's not fighting at the undergraduate level. He's in grad school. He's in the PhD program. Here in grad school in the United States and in North America generally, a C- is not a pass. It's a pass in the undergrad. Now, I know in a C at graduate school in England is a pass, but this is a North American grading scale, homie. So I'm giving him a C-. That's number one. Number two, to address what you said, Kenny. Yes, you could argue that some improvements were made over the George Gambosis loss, but against Lomachenko, I saw a Teofimo that was implementing the jab a lot more often. I saw a Teofimo that would get his opponent when his opponent was caught, who would throw a couple combinations. Teofimo last night wasn't using the jab as much as he needed to. He was feinting a lot more than I thought was necessary, and he wasn't combination punching. And by the way, Teofimo apologized for the fight in the ring last night. And by the way, Teofimo didn't show up to his own post-fight press conference, which we all went to ask him questions. He didn't show up. So we ended up talking to Keyshawn Davis, Xander Zayas, and Jared Big Baby Anderson. They showed up. So you know what? A-, A for those guys. Book it. C-, Teofimo Lopez. Any last any last comments? Any last comments, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh man, guy in elementary school over here in the US, when the grades are either needs improvement or satisfactory, my guy just gave him a needs improvement. That's fucking hilarious.
Not only that, we're scheduling Teofimo for the parent teacher conference because I need to sit down with his dad. What's going on?
Teo Senior, what's going on, man? Let us know, bro.
Let us know what's going on in the home right now, because I'm not seeing what I need to see in the classroom. So let's have a little discussion. And Tony P, I know you know all about parent-teacher conferences, because like Maestro, Tony P is a teacher, although he may not always make it appear that way with some of his comments. He absolutely is. So I don't know if anybody wants to talk about that fight. I'm going to drop the link, Kenny, and for anybody that wants to talk about that. But we also got to talk about Terrence Bud Crawford. But go for it before I drop the link. You tell me when to drop the link.
Sounds good. So two more things, right? First, I don't give Teo that C-. It needs improvement or whatever. But I think we got to discuss where we think Jared Baby's gonna go from here, and where we think Teo's gonna go from here, who they fight next. We definitely still have to discuss Bud Crawford and the BLK Prime card and Avanesyan. By the way, who I said was untested a couple weeks back. That was definitely not the word that I meant to use. It was a confusion. It is what it is. But I take it. I take everything, whatever. But yeah, no. Teofimo Lopez doesn't get that L. Sander Martine, he did his thing. He could have thrown a lot more punches. I think Teofimo is soft for not showing up to the conference afterwards. You should go and talk your shit. You talk your stuff like you that man. But I do have to give this stat real quick for everybody, just because we was talking about the whole prospect to contender to champion type of rankings. I just have to let everybody know this. So we're talking about Xander Zayas, who right now has had 15 pro fights. He's 15-0, 15 wins, 0 losses, right? And then you compare him to Teofimo Lopez, who has had 19 pro fights, is 18-1, and was damn near undisputed. And because he was damn near undisputed and he got the belts, now we're like, well, he's a champ, so he needs to be at the champ level. Look, man.
He's saying that. I'm not saying that. He's saying that.
Hold on. I never said you said. The world is saying it. The world is saying it. But
and
it's like,
he's saying it. And his dad.
Well, I also think that he should be fighting at the champion level. Just like it's arguable that Xander Zayas could face used to be champ or an ex-champ or someone who is about to be a champ, and then in the following fight he could fight a champ. That's arguable. You could say that Jared Anderson could fight Dillian White right now. You could say Jared Anderson could fight Joe Joyce right now. You know what makes these guys prospects, contenders, and champs? Obviously, we know what makes a champ a champ. But what makes these guys prospects or contenders? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We decide who's a prospect and a contender. That was just the final closing statement I had to say on that, because I feel like I didn't get to close that earlier. But before we do move on to Terrence Crawford and BLK Prime and Avanesyan, let's discuss where we think that Jared Anderson and Teo go next. Who should Teo fight? Let's go. Matter of fact, Anderson first.
Let's go on Jared Anderson. Okay, Jared Anderson. Yeah. I actually discussed this with Bruce, not Bruce Trampler. By the way, a big up to Bruce Trampler for getting voted into the Hall of Fame as a non-combatant. Big up Bruce Trampler. Big up everybody at Top Rank. I think they do a tremendous job with their prospects. But I spoke to Cole Moretti, who's essentially the chief matchmaker at Top Rank. I'll put up the interview in on my channel later on today. I'll also put up an interview I did with Xander Zayas after the fight too, because I was asking Bruce, last time I saw you, Bruce, Carl Moretti. I was like, Carl, last time I saw you, matter of fact, you were there with me, Kenny, when we saw all those guys at the press conference before the remember it was a card with Berlanga and Xander Zayas and Big Baby. Big Baby Anderson was there, but he wasn't fighting. And Big Baby was getting ready to go out to the UK. Big Baby was going to make a splash on the Dillian White Tyson Fury undercard, and he didn't end up going out there. I think he got a training injury. So I'm like, it seems that you guys have pretty much exhausted a lot of the U.S. competition at the prospect contender level, right? The United States heavyweight boxing honestly isn't at the strongest point right now. Most of the top guys are outside the United States, and you've pretty much exhausted it. He was asked about Frank Martin. He said Frank Martin would be a very boring style and fight. But Big Baby. Yeah, Frank Sanchez.
No, I know what you meant. I just can't believe he said that.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
like
he
a
said
cop
that.
out.
He said that, but Big Baby Anderson, to his credit, said he's all for it. But at this point, I don't know. I think he'd be ready for like a Prince Charles Martin, personally. But other than that, I mean, give me some names, guys. I saw Rydell Booker come up. Maybe Franklin, who fought with Dillian White in that close fight, Jermaine Franklin. Maybe he could be somebody that Jared Anderson could target. But to me, a lot of the guys that he could potentially face are guys out there in the UK, and guys like Fabio Wardley, right? I could see him taking on a guy like Fabio Wardley, who got a pretty good win against Nathan Gorman in his most recent fight. You know who else I could see him fight? And I think he'd do very well against at this point? A guy that showed a lot of vulnerability, a guy that holds a secondary title in the WBA, Daniel Dynamite Dubois. I think that he's ready for a guy like that. But I think that they've pretty much exhausted, and Chad, help me out. I think they've pretty much exhausted the contender base and the prospect base here in the United States. And I'm going to share the screen for you, Kenny. You can
there we go.
You can go through some names, but yeah, and then we can get to some of the guys that I think maybe you said Teofimo next, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Look, I do think that Sanchez is a great fight for Jared Anderson, but if I was Top Rank, I start putting Jared Anderson against them names. The first name that I would go against would be Michael Hunter immediately, or if you wanna wait on Michael Hunter, cool, right? Because if you want to go up the ranks, Michael Hunter is a contender. So you would have to wait on Michael Hunter. But I think Jared Anderson will wash up Michael Hunter right now. Jared Anderson is not a contender. He's a prospect, so to speak. So just
you know
saying.
why? Because
But,
you know why, Kenny? Because he put in an A- performance last night.
no, not has nothing to do with that. but look. The one
Yeah.
thing that they did correct with Conor Benn was the way that they brought him up against the right opposition with the right names to bring the guy's popularity all the way up. And I think that they have an opportunity to do that right now with Jared Anderson. So you have Jared Anderson. They could fight Philip Ergovich as a challenging fight against an upcoming prospect with a big name. Cool. After Ergovich, or matter of fact, you could save Ergovich. I do the guy that Maestro said, Big Baby. Why? Fight for the real Big Baby name. Fight for the publicity of the name. Exactly.
Right? It's a good promotion.
I agree. It could get him a lot of popularity. Big Baby Miller is a nobody. And I guarantee that Jared Anderson will knock his ass out. But cool. You got Big Baby. You want to go up in opposition from Big Baby Miller? Then you go right to Michael Hunter. Up in opposition, up in popularity, up in rankings. You want to go up from there? Luis Ortiz. You want to go up from there?
That's a good one.
100%.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one, Kenny. I like that. Luis Ortiz. Why not? Why not?
Hell yeah, he just fought Ruiz. Why not fight Luis Ortiz?
And he's got a name. What about Trevor Bryant? What about him?
Hell no. I'd say after Ortiz, you want to go for the other prospects / contenders like Daniel Dubois. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, secondary title, bro. So why not?
Exactly.
He's got the same title that Tank has.
Exactly. Daniel Dubois.
He got the same title that Tank has. Why not?
I agree. Daniel Dubois right after. After that, the Juggernaut. Finish that man off. Why? Because the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut is not a champ. He doesn't have a belt. So you have to fight him before you fight the dudes with the belt. Unless you're going to do the duck and dodging game and, we're going to save it for it to be a better fight up in the future. A la Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that the Juggernaut is a great fight before he starts fighting the champions. After the Juggernaut,
we gotta stay clear of the Juggernaut, bro.
If you want to save the Juggernaut till later, we could throw in Dillian White. We could throw in Joseph.
I like that. I like Dillian White. That's perfect. Dillian White. Here are my names. I'm going to throw out some names. Give me a pass or a fail on these names. You ready, Kenny?
Well, yeah, 1 second. Everybody who's listening to the podcast, please go and hit the like button if you're watching. We only got 18 likes at the moment. It's 44 people watching. Do some love, show some love and support, and hit that like button. Crazy. Go ahead, take over, Maestro.
All right, so listen, pass or fail. All right, on these names, Dillian White.
Oh, it's a pass. It's a great name.
The other one I had before was I think Big Baby Miller would be a great one. Like you say I stole your name. Well, I'll show you why I'm the real Big Baby. I like that one. Plus, he can talk. Plus, let's get this guy out of here. Like, I don't really need to see this guy much longer. To feed him to Jared Anderson, right? That's another one. The other one that I like that you mentioned a lot that I also think is a pass. We already know these are passes because a couple of them are names that you gave. We're looking at Luis Ortiz. I like that one. And I think that's a good level. I would stay clear of the Juggernaut. Juggernaut, I think he's about to be on the championship. He's already on the championship level. He needs to just fight for a title. I like all of the other names. The question, though, and this is the real pass or fail right now. Passes and he'll pass this guy. Fail, he might struggle against them. Frank Sanchez.
That's a great fight. I don't know what the hell Anderson was saying. Oh, that's a boring fight. No. That's a great fight. Stop it. That sounds like a duck and dodger move. But
I missed this comment from Remy.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And I want to answer. I missed this comment from Remy. Teofimo literally needs the trainer that got him ready for the Lomachenko ASAP. It's a Gamouche, and I agree that would have helped him. Sorry, go for it, Kenny.
Yeah, that would.
I like to answer the questions of all of our members. So I don't like
one more name. One more name that I'm gonna throw in the mix.
Tony Oka, another one from Remy.
Didn't he get beat up recently? I'm good.
Yeah, by Martin
Nah,
McCoy. Yeah.
yeah, and he doesn't even Tony Yoka doesn't even have a big name to gain popularity for Jared Anderson. Tony Yoka has less of a name than Jared Anderson, if you ask me. But
Reese Mack is asking about Big Bang Zhang. He was at the fight last night, actually, Big Bang. So I'm sure he was scoping out Jared Big Baby Anderson.
I wouldn't fight him if I was Jared Anderson. Why? Zhang is big. Zhang doesn't have a name. Zhang poses a threat. It's like a not needed threat that's not going to bring him or his career anywhere near like forward. So I don't think that's a good one either. But I got another good one. If they want to bring him up the cherry picking route and increase his popularity, you got this guy Dillian White fought him. He's like a heavy set white dude with a bunch of tattoos. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
You don't. You're talking about the Australian. The former interim WBA
Lucas Brown.
Lucas Brown. Yeah,
bro. That's another used to be champion that they could throw in there to bring up his name and popularity. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, look, man. If I was part of Jared Anderson's promo team, he'd be coming up. You'd be thinking that this guy was the next coming of Zeus, the way he'd be coming up and looking amazing. And also his popularity, bro. Come on. Stop it.
So
there's a bunch of people for Anderson to fight. Yeah.
So what are we doing? We gonna invite anybody in, or you want to go straight to Teofimo?
It's up to you. We could invite somebody in and then dive right into Teofimo.
All right, so I'm dropping the link in the chat if anybody wants to join us, and we'll talk about what's next for Teofimo. I mean, I'm pretty confident with the 140 pounders.
There's a lot of names there,
and I don't think Teofimo does well against a lot of them. And I'm not only talking about Josh Taylor. I'm not only talking about Ramirez or definitely Prograis, but I'm talking about Subriel Matias. I'm talking about your compatriot from the DR, Alberto Puello. I'm talking about Liam Pato, the Australian guy. I think Teo struggles against most of these dudes based on what I saw last night.
Shit. It's tough to say. Like struggle losing or struggle winning. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, what I see as
struggle beating them.
So he'll win the fight. It'll just be a struggle for him. That's what you're saying.
No, I mean I think he probably loses those fights.
Oh,
to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it's tough for me, right? Because I feel like what's wrong with Teofimo right now is his mind, his state of mind. You could see when he's fighting in the ring, he looks so unsure of himself. You could see when they're about to call the decision, he's so unsure of himself and just looks like he's questioning himself the full way through. It's just, yeah, I think his mind is stronger from where it was at when he fought Kambosos, but I don't think that he's fully back in that good state of mind. Especially he's still staying delusional shit. As long as he's still believing, as long as he's still believing delusional shit like that the zone conspired against him to get him a loss, as long as he believes in shit like that, you know he's mentally weak and talking doodle. I can't hear you, Maestro. Oh, I heard you now.
I'm gonna bring in Virtuoso.
Sounds good.
Virtuoso, go for it. And I'm gonna be right back in 10 seconds. Go for it, Virtuoso.
Kenny. Lucas Brown, really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Look, not because Lucas Brown is great.
Yeah.
Not because, but because Lucas Brown has some sort of popularity. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like doing what they did with Conor Ben. You know, I'm not saying that Lucas Brown presents any type of challenge at all, though. Mm-hmm. I just think that Conor Ben's team, they did an amazing job bringing the guy up, because before Conor Ben didn't even become a champ, everybody and their mother knew who Conor Ben was. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I was saying. Not necessarily that I think he needs Lucas Brown to excel his career in terms
Yeah,
of.
I don't think that'll do much for his career. I mean, I see Lucas Brown as a crash test dummy, to be honest with you. But with Zhilei Zhang, you get numbers from China.
Is he
I just
popular
think that
like that?
yeah, he fights out of Patterson, New Jersey. But yeah, if they make that fight against an American, you know the Chinese are going to tune into that.
Nah, I guess I could see that. I just to like I didn't know that Zhang was popular. I thought Zhang was just a semi dangerous fighter that nobody
Mhm.
knew, because I you know, I recently found out about Zhang, and I'm like deep into boxing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, but you know,
I didn't think he was popular. I didn't know.
yeah. So I hear you guys were talking about the prospects about last night's card. I mean, and I do have to say that Top Rank knows how to showcase, you know, their young talent. Emphasis on the word showcase, because they're not there like yet to compete for world titles, but they're there to display talents that they possibly could be doing in the future. And from the looks, from what I'm hearing, it feels like, yeah. Out of those three, do you feel like Big Baby is probably closest to contender status?
Out of Big Baby, Zhang, and who?
Out of Big Baby, Keyshawn, and Xander Size, who do you feel like
Oh,
is closer to contender status?
I would say
100,
Big Baby.
100% Big Baby. 1000%. Like before this fight, it looked like Xander was potentially right behind him, but both Xander and Jared stepped up in opposition, and I thought Xander looked much worse than Jared did. Jared, although he got tagged a few big times and
Mhm.
got pushed back a few big times, he still kind of ate those punches and came through to those punches to land
Right.
his like 100 punch combo. That shit was crazy.
I
Yeah,
agree. And what I would say to
I
that
would
too,
push back on that.
Virtuoso.
I thought Xander looked the same as he did in his last fight, and I don't think he has any shown any like regression or anything like that. He looked good in there, you know, against
What
a
I,
face that big.
can you guys hear me? You can hear
Yeah,
me,
Yeah.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What I would say, Virtuoso, is this. I see Jared Big Baby Anderson doing much better against a lot of the contenders in the heavyweight division than I would see Xander Zayas doing against the contenders right now in the 154-pound division.
Fair enough.
Contenders like Sebastian Fundora, contenders like Tim Zhu, contenders like Tony Harrison, even. You know, I see Jared Anderson beating most of the heavyweights out there right now, with the exception of a few at the very, very top. Kenny?
Mm.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think that Xander Zayas is necessarily in a place where he competes with those guys. Plus, I also I do feel that there was some type of I wouldn't say regression, but I would say that there was no improvement from the last fight. Yes, he went up in opposition, but there still should have been some type of improvement from the last fight. If anything, he looked a little worse from his last fight, and it's because he was fighting better opposition. He got tagged much more than he did his last fight. His last fight, he controlled it, bro. He went
Right.
in there and knocked the guy out. He controlled most of the rounds. He was eating the guy up. Like this
Mm-hmm.
fight, this fight, he wasn't eating homie up. He was this fight. Guy, every time that Xander Zayas would throw punches, the guy would
Mm-hmm.
counter punch in between, and he would land some big punches that would push back Xander Zayas. And although Xander Zayas showed that he has an amazing chin, he showed his chin is 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was still taking the punches, and still those
Mm-hmm.
punches were still landing flush to his face. And
Right.
it's not to say that, you know, that if he gets hit by a punch like that from Charlo, that he's gonna eat it the same way.
Mm. Yeah,
You know,
Virtuoso. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I was going to give you an opportunity to contribute again, and then I got Tony waiting to join us.
Yeah, I just think that Anderson needs to improve his defense. You know, because in the first round he did take some flush shots. He takes them well, but you know, but better be safe than sorry. You know, you got to protect that head. You know, I thought Xander was more fundamentally sound than him, in my opinion. I mean, he keeps his right hand up, you know, to block punches from hooks. He moves well, in the pocket, knows how to step back, and counter. I see more tools in the shed for Xander, but what Anderson has is power, and power comes a long way in the sport of boxing.
There you go. Virtuoso, thank you so much, fam. I appreciate it, and keep in touch as always.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you, Virtuoso.
Thank you for joining, brother.
I'm gonna bring in Tony P out of the UK, out of England, licking his wounds after that beatdown yesterday by les Français, allez les Bleus, Mbappe, Dembele. Here we go. What's good, Tony?
I wish I knew what you were saying, but it's all right. It sounds cool.
Je parlais français, monsieur.
Okay. We're talking about France beating England in the World Cup yesterday, but I was just joking with Tony. I was just joking with Tony because I know Tony's not a big fan of the Three Lions anyway, so it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Tony, what's good? What's good, brother?
All good, brother. All good. As always, a pleasure to be with you guys. Kenny, been a hot minute since I've seen you on. So yeah, big up to you two guys, and great content as always.
Thank you, brother. So give us your thoughts. Is it the takeover, or are we back to the fake over? Is the takeover over?
I gotta take my humble pie because you know how much I championed Teofimo. I really honestly believe that he would become Takeover 2.0 and would be a very strong force at 140. But based on last night's performance, I don't believe that he may be as strong a challenger as I've originally thought. Now, he might have just had a bad day at the office. Yeah, so let's just be honest. That can happen to a guy. He might have just had the wrong dance partner, because we know if you get the wrong dance partner, it can make you look bad. And I think that's what he was trying to say in his post-fight interview, was basically this guy his style was all wrong for me.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. I asked Carl Moretti about that at Top Rank, right? And I said, it's interesting that you matched him against Sandor Martine, and he was very clear in the reason they matched him against Sandor Martine. They thought that Sandor was going to be good preparation for Regis, because Regis can bang, but Regis is a very good mover. So well, the
Regis
difference
doesn't
with
fight in that on that back foot way. Regis will bring the fight. He'll bring the heat to Teo.
But he can though. But he can.
Regis also has the short arms too. Let's not forget Regis is quick. But Regis and Sandor Martine, I don't think are anywhere nearly the same.
I'm not saying that I said that. I'm telling you that's why Carl Moretti told me they selected him. I'm just putting that out there.
I mean,
so based on this though, Tony, does he beat Regis Prograis?
Not on yesterday's performance. No way.
You can't tell anything about that from yesterday's performance.
Does he beat Josh Taylor, another southpaw?
Yesterday's performance is, look, man gets knocked down twice. Yeah, by a guy who isn't really considered a banger. And if you was to ask me who carries more power, more threat in their punches, Regis Prograis and Sandor Martine, I'm definitely saying Regis Prograis.
Hands down.
So I'm worried. I'm thinking to myself,
and by the way, the other name he threw out there was Josh Taylor, another southpaw that can bang.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a southpaw situation.
He got clipped with right hooks. Josh Taylor threw a mean right hook.
You have to say, some guys do never get around southpaws. Some guys have amazing careers against orthodox fighters, but the minute they step in with a southpaw, it all goes to pot. And that's just a stylistic thing.
I got another name for you.
Look at Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. He could never get Kenny Norton. He could never. He beat the hell out of Joe Frazier in 2 out of 3 fights. Yeah? He crucified George Foreman, but he could never get Kenny Norton. So styles makes fights.
You say Lennox was best is questioning whether Taylor could bang. I mean, as Regis Prograis, he said he hits hard. So I mean, that's somebody who's been in the ring with him, and he scored a lot of knockouts. Ask Ivan Baranchyk if Josh Taylor hits hard.
I don't know, bro. If you ask Catterall's gonna tell you, nah, Josh Taylor hits like a bitch.
I'm
Ask Catterall. Let's see what he says.
I don't think Josh Taylor sticks around long enough for a matchup with Teofimo. Seriously, I think he has to go to 147.
What does he have to gain by taking on Teofimo right now at this point, anyways?
I don't know. I honestly don't even know where Josh Taylor is going to take his career right now. To me, it's all looking questionable. When he was undisputed, great. He was looking like an amazing champ. Oh, 147, Crawford or Spencer, blah, 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 blah. Now he relinquished a couple belts. Is he going to get him back? There's a whole lot of heat and smoke for him at 140-pound weight class. Is he going to get him back? Is he going to wait for Terrence Crawford and Spencer to try to go up to 154 for him to try to go up to 147? Is he even thinking about going up to 147? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not even thinking about Josh Taylor because I was so disappointed when he fought Catterall, and I got to see that rematch again before I even consider anything
let's see the
of Josh
rematch.
Taylor.
So I got another name for you because it's a name that Teofimo's been saying a lot, his dad as well, and it's a name that was brought up
let's go to
again
Crawford.
yesterday. After we got to go to Crawford. So Devin the Dream Haney.
That's terrible for Teo right now. Nah, not for Teo. Not right now. Hell no.
You know what? Teofimo is at that status now where it's hit or bust. He can't be messing around with contenders. He got to be fighting the big cats. You know, look, Devin Haney is a legitimate challenger for him. They could fight at 140 as an eliminator for a title, and that makes huge money because they both got drawing power. Yeah, it makes dollars and it makes sense.
Based on what I saw last night, I don't know why he think he could beat Gambosis again at 135 because I mean he talked about Gambosis as well. At 135? At 135? Yeah. I don't know about that.
He's not going back to 135.
Well, then why the fuck would Gambosis move up to 140? He's not struggling to make 135.
And
why would Gambosis move up to 140? So if you're not going to fight him at 135, if you're not going to fight him at 135, why bring his name up? Anyways, last question, Tony, before we get on to Crawford, because we got to hit Crawford. Is it over for Josh Warrington? You're from the UK. Is it over for Josh Warrington as a champion level fighter at 126?
100% it's over. The Warrington train is derailed. It's off the track. It's in the yard. It's being deconstructed for scrap. It's done. It's over.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. So moving on, Terrence Crawford took a lot of heat for not fighting Errol Spence Jr. People were blaming him. People were saying that he was making too many demands, wanting to see the numbers, wanting to know what share of the profit he would get. He tried to refute a lot of that. I don't know if he refuted it, but he definitely challenged it. He ended up taking on David Avanesyan for what's reported to be a career high payday. If in fact he does get $10 million from BLK Prime. David Avanesyan is a credible contender, a European champion, beat everybody pretty much below the world championship level, got absolutely obliterated by a calm, calculated, and tactical Terrence Bud Crawford, who iced him, flattened him with a beautiful short right hook. Kenny, I'm going to go to you first. Well, what were your thoughts on this performance?
Child's play. First, I do want to mention BLK Prime and their first show, and I do want to say that I felt that the ring colors was terrible for TV. The black on the ring with the gold, it was too dark. It made the light doesn't reflect off the floor. It makes like I had both the Top Rank fight card and the BLK fight card going on at the same time, and my eyes were stuck on the Top Rank fight card because it was so dark on the BLK Prime fight card because the ring was dark, the lights were a little more dim. It didn't bring me in. It wasn't vibrant. That's one. Secondary, I love that they brought Paulie Malignaggi back. Yeah, boy. But besides
Torver.
Yeah, I was excited for the announcing. But besides bringing dope announcers back, there was some dumb shit that happened announcing too. There was a certain point that you hear somebody like open a soda or a seltzer through the mic of the announcer. It was like,
oh shit!
I was like, wow, these guys are nuts.
That's Bush League.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Bush League.
It was crazy.
I don't even do that shit on this channel.
That's what I'm saying. We mute over here. It's crazy to me. But I found those things funny. It is what it is. Rookie mistakes. I think BLK Prime will get better. They need to not be offering so much money for these, average fights though. But
let me ask you this, Kenny, real quick, before you get to Crawford. Was that Adrian Broner or was it Rick Ross last night? I'm confused.
Oh. Hey, look.
How the hell is he gonna make 140 pounds?
I don't know. He was definitely a little heavy looking. And he was definitely rocking the rose beard. You know what I'm saying? I'm jealous of the beard. I'm not jealous of the heaviness. He was looking fat on the neck. He was looking fat on the arms and the shoulders. Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna make it, but whatever. He needs to make it so he could go secure his potential last bag. But yeah, Terrence Crawford, man, he did his thing. So he calmly picked the dude apart. I gotta say though, in the beginning, I was a little bothered because I was a little upset at how calm Crawford was coming at Avanesyan with the little tappy jabs. I was so mad in the beginning, but yo, when the knee came, he turned up the heat. Yeah, yep.
He's like a cobra charmer in India. Those guys in India that charm the cobras. Seriously, he charms them, and then bop or right hand. Right. I mean, that's what he does. Go for it, Ken.
Yeah. In the beginning, I'm like the little jabs, the little tippity tappity jabs. I was like, is he getting old? Is this like an old man tactic? And then he turned up the heat right when he had to. So I got nothing negative to say about Terrence Crawford. He calmly controlled that fight the entire time. Avanesyan tried. He landed a couple of hard punches on Crawford. He bopped Crawford's head back a few times. You got to give him props for that. But I think that what we all thought was going to happen happened in this fight. I think even the guy from BLK Prime that paid the $10 million to Crawford knew that Crawford was going to knock Avanesyan. Not that everybody knew. But it was still something that we wanted to see because we know that Avanesyan is not no pushover. He's not just going to walk in the ring and lay down. So those are my thoughts. I thought Crawford did his thing, and love the poise on him. Love how he was so calm.
I think we're all on the same page here, unless Tony disagrees. Tony, go for it.
So it was a thing of beauty. There are times in life when you sometimes watch a master at work, and you just have to say that there is a thing of beauty. Look, we are David Avanesyan trains out of the UK. So we get to see a hell of a lot of David Avanesyan. It was obviously being talked up for a domestic scrap with Conor Benn, which would have made a huge amount of money because there were two very high-profile names here in the UK. When I heard that Terrence Crawford had selected David Avanesyan, I was like, that is a good fight. Considering you've been out of the ring for 18 months, that's a very good fight to come back to. This kid isn't gonna give you an easy walkover. He's a recognized name. He's in a few top 10s. I don't know if he's in all of them, but he's in top 10s. So that's a very good, credible guy for you to come back against. He's gonna give you some work, and it made sense. What he proceeded to do last night against a credible foe who I thought was going to give him a little bit more of a hard time was nothing less than a masterclass. His distance control, I'm taking that to the gym, bro. You and I both work in gyms. I'm like, boys, check this 100%. Out. It's on my phone. I'm ready. to show the kids.
And
This is how you control distance.
I actually like the use of the jab in that way to control distance, because the jab isn't only an offensive weapon; it's a range finder. It's used to establish range. And as somebody who coaches Tony, you'll understand that even when you're doing the pad work, a lot of times you leave the hand out there of the hand that's not catching. So I'm going to show it up like this, so that you make the fighter throw at range. Crawford, man, he's a virtuoso. We got to give him his flowers for that. If he ever does fight Errol Spence Jr., I know Errol Spence was in a car accident yesterday. I hope he's okay. I hope he recovers fully. If he isn't, you know, that's the fight that people want to see. But you know what? Based on what I saw yesterday, you know, all of the people saying, you know, he's ducking Boots Ennis, he's ducking Virgil Ortiz, he's afraid. Stop it. I got into an argument with somebody at a fight. I want to say I've talked to you about this clown off camera. I'm not going to I'm not going to name drop him on camera. He works for I don't know if he gets paid by them, but he sends videos to quite a major outlet. He's there talking about Crawford afraid. No, Crawford's not afraid. Matter of fact, the Crawford we saw yesterday, as much as I like Boots Ennis, as much as I like Virgil Ortiz, they're not on that man's level. They're not on that man's level. It's not just what he did to David Avanesyan, it's how he did it. He's a virtuoso, and it's going to take a really good fighter with a lot of experience, which both Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis don't have right now. Like I've said, iron sharpens iron, right? Steel sharpens steel. Well, what does aluminum foil sharpen? Because that's honestly what Boots Ennis has been facing off against. So I don't know if he's ready. I don't think he's ready for Crawford. I don't think Virgil Ortiz is ready for Crawford. Hopefully Crawford can work something out where he gets the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Or like he said, maybe he'll move up and take on a Charlo. But I'd like to see him handle business at 147 first and fight for undisputed. Kenny?
I wholeheartedly agree. Those guys are not touching Terrence Crawford. Stop it. Terrence Crawford is on a whole nother level. Although he did look like old man Crawford yesterday with that little haircut and coming in with his 55 kids. You know what I'm saying? Old man Crawford, you know. Nah, these youngins got nothing on old man Crawford. Chill. Jaron Ennis nor Virgil Ortiz. These guys need to fight each other. Need to take it back to the drawing board. They got nothing on them. Stop it.
Prove yourself.
On a whole nother
against
level.
each other. Fight each other first. Let's see who's better out of you two. Let's see who's better out of you. And by the way, Amílcar too. Let's not forget about him, because he's on their level as well. Let's see those guys fight. Let's see those guys fight. What he did to Budayev was no joke. Okay, Budayev legit. So let's see those guys fight, and then let's see the guy who clearly rises above get an opportunity against Crawford, against Spence. Tony, go for it.
Last thing I just want to say is Errol Spence car crash. He was crashed by a 14-year-old. He didn't crash into somebody. He said his legs was hurt, but he is A-okay, and will probably just need a little bit of recovery for them legs. But he's good. He's not injured. He's good to go. Sorry. Hey, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually about to say the exact same thing, because that was the reporting that I had received as well. So obviously Errol did take to his Insta Live to report live from the scene that he was okay and to explain the situation. In terms of Boots and Virgil Ortiz and Stanionis, yeah, those guys really need to get it on with one another. We need to see Spence and Crawford do the thing, get the undisputed. I do, however, believe that once that fight is over, one or possibly both of those fighters are going up to 154. Can't see Spence hanging around at 147 for very long. And in all honesty, when you consider how many welterweights Crawford has now knocked out consecutively, he also is going to want to be chasing history. You know,
That's the other
that's
thing.
10
He's on a
knockouts in a
knockout
row.
streak. He's in a knockout streak, bro. That's what
Right.
they're all credible opponents too. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. They may not be who you want him to face, but they're guys that would cause serious problems for everybody else. Listen, Tony, I want to let everybody know where they can find you. You can find Tony doing the breakdown on the Undefeated podcast, channel. He does the breakdown with my brother Base the Kid. Tony, thank you so much for joining us, fam. I really appreciate it.
Namaste, brothers. Take care. Have
There
a
you
great
go.
weekend.
My brother Tony, thank you for joining us, bro.
Thank you so
Tony
much. So,
E,
Ken,
aka Tony Ellaby.
oh shit, I forgot to ask him about Tank Davis and his upcoming fight, but we'll get to that. We've actually run
Probably had the
along.
inside
Fam,
scoop.
fam, we thought that the way we started and we're thinking of starting compared to how the show went, bro, fire show. I really enjoyed the debate with you, bro, about the grading. We gotta get back to more grading in future shows. Everybody check out Kenny's EP, All on the Table. All right, don't want to forget about that. The songs are all fire, just like this show. Kenny's got some plans for his channel. He's going to be back at it soon. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Kenny, or save it for another time. Up to you.
I'll give a quick rundown on it. I'm gonna be coming
go
back
for
on my I'm gonna be coming back on my channel with a little bit of everything, not only boxing. Gonna be podcasting about many different things. I think my first episode is gonna be on steroids use in bodybuilding and sports. And I'm also gonna be streaming my fitness, hip hop music interviews, artist interviews, a lot of different things. I'm taking my channel more so away from a channel that revolves around boxing to a channel that revolves around all the dope shit that I do and like in my life. So there we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's what's up, Kenny. That's what your channel should be about. In fact, I should be doing some non-boxing related stuff on my channel as well. So I'm gonna
I agree.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, the only reason I have a channel is because of that guy right there who convinced me to do it. All right. If it wasn't, I would just be I'd be giving my free time to other people, and I would be, calling into shows and not having my own channel myself. So that's all on Kenny. So, I'm always going to be supporting everything Kenny does. He's got great opinions on a wide range of things, not just boxing. The EP speaks for itself. And maybe I'll be taking some cues for that too, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, not just boxing. And the other thing too, I've never wanted this channel to be a channel where every day I'm putting out 1 or 2 videos and having to scrape around to find topics. I just want to talk about the fights, especially the ones that happen on the weekend. The other stuff, if something interesting to me happens, I'll talk about it. Like I did with the Teofimo Lopez thing with the Max Kellerman interview. I thought that was funny. Did you see my video on that, Kenny?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It's good, entertaining media with good jokes and humor. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be a breakdown about a fight. You know what I'm saying? You could talk about anything, your experience at the fight or heading to the fight. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. Revolve your show around everything. Anything that you find interesting, funny, entertaining. And yes, your episode was 5-star, bro.
All right, so everybody, thank you very much. Stay tuned for us next week. We'll be back. We'll be back in a bigger and better way. I promise you that next week. And if you don't know and you're not watching out or looking out for my punchlines, make sure you look out for punchlines as well.
Gorilla in the planet of the apes. I write a punchline and plant it on your face.
Yes, sir.
Little bit of a snippet there. Kenny, thank you so much. As always, thank you everybody in the chat. Take care, everybody.